Right now, during Premier Heating and Air's 4th of July sale, get a tune-up on your air conditioning unit for just $109. That's right, only $109 to tune up your air conditioner right now. So make sure you're running efficiently with the help of Premier Heating and Air. Need a new air conditioning unit? Payments start as low as $89 per month. And if you have less than perfect credit, it's never a problem with Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company. Premier Heating and Air.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at Dublin High School with the two-time state champion head coach, Coach Holmes. Coach Holmes is here with us. And, Coach, first let's start with this heat, man. It's about 100 degrees. How have the Irish been handling the heat this summer?
I think they've done pretty good, to be honest with you. But most everything up till this week we've done in the mornings.
Okay.
So it's for the sun pop.
Sure.
This is our acclimation week. We could have gone early in the mornings, but our teachers start in service Thursday and Friday.
Gotcha.
And in the process, we're thinking, hey, if we're going to get used to the dadgum heat,
That's right.
because the next week when you put on pads, school is going on.
Right.
So we went ahead and pushed our practice to kind of the same time that we'll be out in full pads. And I think our young men have handled it pretty doggone well.
There you go. And, Coach, you talk about teachers in service starting tomorrow. When do your players get into the school?
First day of school for us will be next Thursday, August the 3rd, and then we have a home scrimmage on the 4th. So things are rolling pretty quick.
Rolling quickly, yeah. So let's back it up and talk about the summer. Catch us up for the Fighting Irish. How's the summer been?
It's been excellent. Our attendance has been phenomenal. Awesome. I think out of 74 kids, there were only 4 of them that did not get the requirement number of workouts. I think there was about 45 of them that did not miss a single day. So I can't be more pleased with our attendance and the way we're working. And so, I just think it's been a really positive summer.
Yeah, and Coach, man, how great is it for you or for the team to have that attendance for the summer like that?
Well, I think it's invaluable.
Sure.
Because not only are we lifting and we're conditioning, we're able to go out on the field and we'll work offense 2 days a week with the varsity and defense 2 days a week. So you're getting to do a lot of install. What we're into right now is more or less reviewing. Okay. And so I think that put us way ahead. I feel like our young kids especially have a much better understanding about what their assignments are.
Right. So, yeah, Coach, that's tough. You got new kids coming in, and you talk about install. Walk us through the summer as far as that goes when you're installing the playbook. And then at this point, like you say, it's review. So how did that process go?
Well, what we do is we teach through the whole process. So what we do, we come out in spring practice, and we install in that 10-day period about 80% of our base offense and what we're going to do. So then we come right back in the summer. As soon as we get to the summer, 2 days a week are offense, 2 days a week of defense. So we reteach everything again. Okay. So then we feel like at that point they know who to block or where to align and what keys to read defensively. And now when we put pads on, it's not about assignment. Now it's a whole lot more about technique and being physically sound. Right. So we try to teach everything 3 times, spring, summer, and when we put it back on in the fall. So hopefully our young men that have been here regularly and attended, they know what to do. Now it's about the little intricacies that it takes to be successful.
There you go. You got it down to a science out here, Coach. You mentioned the attendance again, but attendance, and also you need you guys to buy in during the summer. That effort, they got to be bringing that effort, that juice every day. How has that been, Coach?
It's been pretty good. You know, there are times. One of the things we did over here is we invested in this thing called the catapult system. Okay. It's a GPS tracking system that we've got 25 of our players wearing every day. Mm-hmm. So when we go in after practice, we can tell you exactly how far they ran, how fast they ran, how much energy energy they exerted that day in practice. And you can use that as a gauge to evaluate how hard your guys are going. But we think it'll also be a big help for us in season.
Sure.
When you start seeing a guy's times are dropping, well, you might need to take a little bit of load off of him in the practice that week so he's maximized on Friday night.
Gotcha. Will you be able to utilize that in game?
Yes, you can wear it in games.
Okay, wow, awesome.
And,
so that's huge.
You know, 90% of your Division I AA
Sure.
football teams are wearing it now. It started out, it was a soccer thing.
Right.
It started, I think they developed it over in Europe or somewhere, but now people have started taking it in football. It's really unbelievable. It measures how many contacts a guy's had during the course of the week.
Awesome.
So you think about it, you go out, and you know there are some games where that other bunch is just lined up over there and they're pounding it right at you.
Right.
And your D-line and your linebackers, you get in and look, and they had 27 what that thing measured as collisions.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, you go back out on Monday, you might need to back off a little bit and maybe block bags in practice instead of bodies so that young man has the opportunity to recover.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, man, recovery during the season, that's huge. And that's going to help you out in that process and things like that. I mean, it helps you out a lot. You wouldn't be able to catch stuff like that on film, or maybe you would, but it would not be
You
as
can't
easy.
verify it.
Sure.
You know,
right.
this gives you some real verification. You know, you've covered games or
Yes,
been
sir.
part of games, and you said, man, that gun was a slobber knocker.
Yeah.
It was physical. Well, you think it is, and you go in and you start pulling those catapults and you start looking and saying, it really wasn't as physical as we thought it was. Yeah. Okay, so in that standpoint, it's some valuable information. We're still trying to learn how to use it to the best of our football team.
Right.
And so we'll see how it goes. But that's another advantage of having a tremendous touchdown club.
Yep, no doubt.
People being parts of a touchdown club, that's integrating science into our football program to try to maximize what we can do.
For sure, Coach. Let's speak on the Touchdown Club. How could somebody get involved with that, and what has been going on with the club?
Well, they've already got out all their information for ads and that type stuff. We're in the processes right now of selling our season tickets.
There you go.
They can get those things at the board office.
Okay.
Go by there, see Miss Pam Jones. It's going to be huge. We've got 7 home games this year.
Ooh. Maybe
regular season.
Maybe some more.
And counting the preseason scrimmage. So there's 8 weeks we're at home.
That's
So
huge.
people don't have to travel, which means there's more people eating out, doing the normal Friday night thing, spending money right here in town in Dublin and Lawrence County, which is a benefit to the community. And obviously, if we can finish in the top 2 in the region, then you're going to add some more home games throughout, hopefully, the playoffs if you're good enough to get there. So from that standpoint, we're really excited about where we are.
Yeah, no doubt, Coach. That's huge. Go ahead. Look, get in with the Touchdown Club now. Support that thing, because you don't want to miss this Irish bus when it gets rolling now.
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of excitement.
No doubt.
Our Touchdown Club will have their first in-season meeting per se Monday night, 6 o'clock here in the field house. That's where they meet. A lot of our parents, but you don't have to be a parent. I would say that a lot of our people that are at the Touchdown Club meetings, they do not have a kid on the team. They just love football and love Dublin football and want to support our program.
That's it. Look, the Irish faithful. Anybody could be a part of that
That's
Touchdown
it.
Club. Yeah, for sure. Want to see the guys succeed, and the Touchdown Club is a big part in doing that.
Yes, sir. No doubt.
No doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with Coach.
Looking for a career that's always in demand? How about one that provides you with practical and useful skills? A career that allows you to earn hands-on experience and an education with little to no debt? Oconee Fall Line Technical College prepares students with the right set of skills to succeed in fast-growing careers in healthcare, manufacturing, business, and technology fields. If you're ready to gain the experience you need to start your career locally, OFTC is where it all begins. Oconee Fall Line Technical College. Careers begin here.
I'm Glenn Registered, Hometown Supply. Come by today and let me show you all the different product lines that we carry. Just about anything that you need, we have it in stock. We do financing, we deliver just about anything a customer needs for us to do. We do. Come by and let me show you what sets us apart from all the rest. If you can't do business here, you just can't do business.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And Coach, we've touched on some a little bit, but I think we need to hit on the other parts, right? We're out here on the field now. Of course, you guys have been out here today, but there's some other parts to this thing. Walk us through a day, I guess, of how does a summer day go for the Fighting Irish?
Summer day for us, bus route runs at 7 a.m. Not everybody provides bus routes.
Yeah.
We do. So we don't have any excuses. Coach, my mom had to go to work early. I didn't have a way. We didn't have this. Mom or dad can't get off work to come pick them up. Our food service people, they've got a breakfast for every kid when they get here in the mornings.
Awesome.
We're in the weight room at 8. We're out of the weight room at 8:15. 8:30 we're on the practice field, or excuse me, 9:30 we're on the practice field. So hour and 20 minutes in the weight room, 10 minutes to get your cleats on, get your helmet, get to the grass. We'll spend 2 hours out there on the grass installing different stuff. And then at the end of June, we finished right before the dead week. We had a half pad camp here. We brought 8 schools in. We did 2 days of half pad camp. That was really quite a show, to be honest with you, to have that many kids on this campus at one time playing the game of football. You hit the dead week, 4th of July, tell all our kids to get away and enjoy themselves and forget about football, and the coaches to do the same. We rolled right back in the next week. Something that some people don't necessarily do, but we've done here ever since I've been in Dublin, Georgia, is we dedicate 1 week in the summer to nothing but kicking game.
Okay, wow.
You know, you win and lose games with kicking game right early in the season is more so, and late in the season. Yeah. The first 2 or 3 games, kicking game can lose you a game really quick. And then when you get in the playoffs, all those teams that are in the playoffs usually always have a real sound kicking game. And so we dedicate a week to that. We install every phase of the kicking game, all of our fakes, all that type of stuff, and we max out in the weight room that week. Then we came back the second week afterwards, and we went 2-a-days for 3 days.
Gotcha.
And then we took off on Thursday, and we went to Howard High School for another half-pad camp day. And so that led us into this week, which was the GHSA 5-day mandatory. And then next week on Monday, the 31st, everybody gets put pads on.
Awesome, awesome. Coach, it's been nonstop with the camps and everything like that. Let's go back to the kicking game, because I've always thought that about the Irish, right? Single-A schools, a lot of time, the kicking game is a real weak point. But you have not had that here, at least from my view. So, I guess that week helps out a lot.
Well, it does, and we emphasize kicking game now. You know, the reality of it is for a long time we had George Hagler, and Pops was phenomenal. He had 9 Division I kickers come out of this school, and through his last 2 or 3 years, he wasn't able to do what he needed to do, and we didn't have that next kicker tabbed. You already knew he was learning in the 6th and 7th grade, and he was growing up. However, that being said, still the schematics of the kicking game and the emphasis that are put on it, you know, one of the things we do around here is we run the heck out of our guys on Mondays now. Monday's a big, big run day. Well, guess what? If you blocked a punt or a field goal or a PAT, you don't run on Monday.
That's huge.
If we block it and we scoop and score, the whole 11 guys that are on the field at that time. So as a head coach, conditioning is huge. But I'll swap a day of conditioning for a block in the kicking game. So that helps them understand how important we believe that the kicking game really is, you know. So last year, to be quite frank with you, after studying film this week on Wilkinson County, which is our opening opponent, I kind of forgot, you know, you got to go back and watch the film. Well, they're opening the first time they punted. They snapped the ball, the punter mishandled it. We tackled him on the 15-yard line and set up a 15-yard touchdown drive.
There you go.
Okay, then the next thing that happened was we returned a punt for a touchdown. So there's two touchdowns, okay, and then we had a very long kickoff return. that set up a third short touchdown, and I think the score was 21-0. Okay, wow. The difference in that game was kicking game. Yep. We turn around the next week, we go to Lamar County. We get beat in overtime. Okay, at the end of regulation, it's 20-20. Mm-hmm. We had 2 bad snaps on an extra point, and we mishandled a snap on a field goal, a chip shot field goal at the end of the game. Execution in either of those 3 plays, the game doesn't even go to overtime. Right. So in those first 2 games, kicking game was the difference in winning and losing.
Sure, yeah, and a lot of times taken for granted, but you see right there that with those examples, it's like, it's huge. You got to have that. You got to have that special teams for sure. Coach, I want to go back. You talked about the summer day. You talked about the bus route. You talked about your Irish lunch crew, I guess. Yeah. They had the food ready. It's really all hands on deck here for Dublin, not even just your coaching staff, which we'll get to those guys, but how great is it that the school, Touchdown Club, everybody outside of the football program is pouring into this program?
Well, I think that started before I got here.
Yeah.
The reality of it is that started when you look at the Shamrock Bowl.
That's it, yeah.
When you go back to 60, 61, and the people in this community went out and took out private notes at the bank and gave that money to the people that were trying to build the Shamrock Bowl. Yeah. Football is important to the people that are here. And it always starts at the top. Dr. Fred Williams, he's a football guy, but it doesn't matter. When you say a football guy, that's what he played. But what he is he's a competitor. And you heard us talking with our kids a few minutes ago about being a leader. Mm-hmm. Well, leaders aren't always popular, but they have to make decisions that are the most important for the overall good of a system. Yeah. And so having his leadership is huge. Persons, as we mentioned, that jump in involved in the touchdown, like our touchdown president Nelson Carswell III. He don't have any kids over here.
That's it. Yeah.
But he's out here working his hind end off every day, trying to help our program be important and put a product on the field that the people in Dublin, Georgia, can walk around and be proud to say, I'm from Dublin, because usually the first thing that pops, oh, y'all got a pretty good football team down there. So that's important.
No doubt. That's huge, especially, Coach. Talking about you mentioned conditioning on the Mondays. How's conditioning been just throughout the summer? How much are you pushing that?
I think we're pushing it pretty good. I mean, you watched us at the end of practice today. It wasn't traditional conditioning.
Sure.
But did you see how fast those kids were running to catch those bombs?
There you go.
And they were going all the way across the field, right?
Right.
So how many times did each kid run one of those bomb routes? Probably 15?
Something like that.
So they just ran 15 50s as fast as they could go.
And they're not dreading it.
And they're not dreading it. They're having fun with the conditioning.
Right.
So mixing it up, finding ways to get the conditioning in, because, as well as I do, I mean, all of our kids go both ways. They're going to need a break here or there. At some point, usually week 4, week 5, a football player has played himself into shape. Mm-hmm. You don't play yourself into shape for a football game on August 18th. Right. You just got to keep learning and be mentally tough enough to fight through it.
For sure. Yeah, Coach, you hit on something there that a lot of schools don't have to go through that two-way thing. How is that throughout the summer for you? You got to install offense and defense for you guys like that.
Well, that's why we stay on the practice field longer than most people.
Sure.
If you come over here to a normal practice, it's 3 hours. Mm-hmm. Our kids know that. They don't. I mean, they've been doing it now in Dublin, Georgia since 2002. We're on the grass because it takes a little bit longer when kids have to learn what to do on both sides of the football. But, I go back and I tell people there's a lot of football players around here that if you didn't play them on offense or defense, you weren't going to be as good a football team as you can be. The one that pops out, number one right off the top, was Rashard Smith. Okay. Rashard was voted by the coaches in the state of Georgia as the Offensive Player of the Year. He was voted by the press as the Defensive Player of the Year. Well, which side of the ball do you not need him on? So it creates extra depth for us. We have to spend a little bit more time on the practice field. And you might not fly around and practice with all that intensity that you would like, because that's hard to do for 3 hours.
No doubt. Yeah. Coach, you got some new faces out here. Players-wise, you got Lake, Bennett Lake.
Yes.
Bennett Lake from Trinity. Looking at quarterback reps today, is he looking to take that spot? What's the quarterback position looking like?
Well, our quarterback is Mike O'Neill.
Okay.
Right now, our backup quarterback would be Jeff Davis, who was here last year, and then Bennett is competing right now for that second spot. Okay, cool. You know, now the reality of it is Jeff's got a full year plus a spring under his belt. Bennett's been here, I don't know, 7 or 8 practices maybe. His head's spinning like a top, but we do see a lot of promise in that young man. Sure. I think he's above the grade as a incoming sophomore in his physical stature and things that he's capable of doing. But right now, there's no question that our quarterback, game one, is Mike O'Neill.
Let's go. There you go. And he's earned the spot for sure, Coach. Hey, let's take one more break, and we're going to come back with Coach.
North, south, east, or west, Friendly Gus is on your way today. Fuel up with Friendly Gus's delicious breakfast, made fresh every day. Your wallet and your belly will thank you. Choose from our 20, 40, and 60-piece chicken finger and wing platters. And don't forget the tater logs. Our food is always fresh and our service is always friendly. Friendly Gus, on your way today. Also shop Cochran Brothers Cash and Carry at 320 South Jefferson in Dublin for additional items like paper products, chicken wings, bulk drinks, spices, sauces, and more.
Brian sells cars well at Dublin Chevrolet.
Dylan sells cars well at Dublin Chevrolet.
Rob Houston sells cars well at Dublin Chevrolet.
Dana services cars well at Dublin Chevrolet.
We do cars well every day at Dublin Chevrolet.
Since 1916, Gravely has been designed, engineered, and made right here in the USA. Whether you prefer gas or electric, every Gravely has been forged with the commercial landscaper in mind. So they're not only built to last, but to also keep you riding comfortably from dawn to dusk. So ask yourself, are you ready to graduate to a Gravely?
Hey, I'm TJ Schuler with Myers Equipment Supply. Come see us for all your sales and service needs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're here. I would say we're here with the legend, Coach Roger Holmes. Coach, let's preview it out. Like you say, really just over a week from football. What's coming up here for the scrimmage?
Well, we got Truitland County coming to town, new head football coach, and Pat Collins. Pat coached at Dublin, and I think he actually left at the end of the season the year before I got here. Went to Westside Macon. He's been the head coach at Southeast Bullock. A private school also down in Bullock Academy. I think he was the head coach there. He's been the head coach at Portal, might have been the head coach at Claxton. So he's been around. Sure. And he's going to run the wing tee, which is a good thing for us in the scrimmage setting. Because next week when we put pads on, we're not having, when we go defensively, our second team offense can line up and go against our first team D and pretty well execute what they're going to do. So it gives us a chance to really hone in and just focus on Dublin. And you're getting ready for a scrimmage when you do it. Then we go back the next week. We do not have a scrimmage then, and then we open the season at home here in the Shamrock Bowl with Wilkinson County. I think open date.
Okay. There you go.
And then we turn around and we go to ECI, and then we go to, or they come here, and come on now, you done stumped me here. Lamar County. Okay, Lamar. Okay, and then it's ECI, and then Metter. Okay. Metter's a big one for us. They kicked our tails twice last year, so hopefully we'll be a little bit better against them. And they've changed coaches. Lee Shaw. Georgia well-known football coach at Flowery Branch, J-Bo, all those guys' dad that played at South Carolina and stuff. He's the new coach at Metters, so they'll be changing their system around. Then we hit an open date, and I think it's Charlton County.
Gotcha.
This year they will come back here again this year because they were supposed to last year, and that was the hurricane controversy.
I can remember.
And so they'll come on back up here this year. So again, we jump into region play with Blackley.
Yep.
Then it's Dooley County. in a non-region game. And then shucks, after Dooley, it's Jefferson. Then it's East Lawrence, and then Swainsboro.
Yeah, you got it, Coach. That's smooth.
Had to work my way through that.
Of course, let's hit on the Charlton game, right? Because that's the 06 state championship, right? I mean, I was just 3 years old, but I know that. Of course, Coach, does that bring a little extra for you?
I think so. I mean, it's been so long ago now, and they've got a different coach. Rich McWhirter was their head coach down there at that time. So about everybody that was in Charlton County, they're not there anymore. Yeah, but, it's gone,
right.
And I'm the only one on the staff from Dublin that was still here. So the only guy that's really got the same thing going on is myself.
Right.
But, when you look at our schedule and you look at Charlton County, Wilkinson County was a second-round playoff team last year. Charlton County's picked to win their region. Lamar County's picked to win their region. ECI, I'm not exactly sure where they're picked, but they're always really, really sound and really, really good. So and Dooley County is picked in the top 10 in the state in their classification and got a great quarterback returning. So it's a very, very, very competitive non-region schedule. They asked me from the newspaper today, well, what do you think? I said, guys, I don't think there's anybody on our schedule we cannot compete with.
Sure.
But there's nobody on our schedule that I feel like if we just show up, we're going to win.
Sure.
And every now and then there's one or two teams like that on your schedule. But it's not that way for us this year.
Not, Coach. Yeah, but it's good, especially with the region you got. Let's throw them in the fire for the non-region until we get to that region. So let's preview the region. Well, who's picked for the region?
The number one pick for the region, without question, has got to be Swainsboro.
Sure, yeah, after last year.
And they've got, when we played them last year, I told everybody it's the fastest football team we've ever played against. Their Ty Adams, who was supposed to be their starting quarterback, was actually hurt and did not play in our game. And the week after that, the young man that's over there now, I can't think of his name, Alabama offered him the week after our game. Then he's committed to Georgia.
Gotcha.
So, they've got about 5 kids that are faster than anybody we've got. Now, they did graduate a very experienced group of offensive linemen, but they'll fill in because when you got the speed they do, you don't have to hold blocks very long. Okay? Yeah. So I think they've got to be, without question, the favorite. Coach Lassiter over in Bleckley County, they lost a ton of 20-something seniors, and that's a big lick in AA football. And he lost, I think, 4 coaches, maybe 5. So he's retooled his staff. I think they'll do some things maybe a little bit different philosophy-wise than what they've done in the past, offensively, maybe defensively. So you got to see how all that comes together. Jefferson County made a change. J.B. Arnold's been there forever with a great program. He's retired now, and he's only working there as their athletic director. But they hired the young man from Washington County that was Coach Ingram and them's defensive coordinator. He's now the head football coach at Jefferson County. So there'll be a lot of familiarity just because of our working relationship over the years with Washington County. East Lawrence, I think Coach, listening to him talk the other day, he's very positive and in a great frame of mind about what they've got coming back over there. Again, another state championship. Through the GACA, Georgia High School does not recognize state champions in weightlifting, but the Coaches Association does, and I think they won the state championship again over there this year in that small division. And so I think they feel like they've got a really good group coming back. So all in all, again, a very solid competitive region schedule, and I guess everybody's probably chasing Swainsboro.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah.
Definitely, you're definitely there with Swainsboro. We see that last year, and we know that they're not just so far ahead. The Irish are right there with them. But like you say, Coach, it really goes back to what you said. There's not a team where you can just, kind of just walk in there and beat.
Yeah.
You gotta be ready every Friday. So, it makes for exciting football for us.
Football.
So, hey, we're ready for it.
Well, I think, one of the major things, and you hit on it in maybe the first segment, how important football is to this community.
Yeah.
Well, our football players play under pressure.
Sure.
If you play at Dublin, you put on that yellow helmet, there's pressure to perform.
No doubt.
Your community is depending on you to have a solid year and produce. It doesn't always work exactly the way you want it to, but those expectations, I think, help push our young men to be able to strive to be the best they can be.
Yeah, no doubt. And Coach, before I let you get out of here, let's highlight some guys specifically. Who really has just been standing out to you, and who should we expect to stand out over in that bowl here in a few weeks?
There's a lot. I think number one, Damari Foster's returning after over 1,000 yards rushing last year. He's moved from the fullback to the halfback spot. We're working a young man named Jordan Tobridge at fullback. He's about 220 pounds, and he's getting better every day. Okay. Mike O'Neill, I mentioned. I feel real good right now about Eli Hartwell out at split end. He's made a lot of good plays for us out there. Nasir Johnson is probably the highest recruited football player that I've had since I've been in Dublin, and basing that off of the number of Power 5 offers that he picked up in the spring. And about 6'5", we put him on the scales today. He's at 307. But he'll be a target.
Sure.
There'll be a lot of people trying to get some of him, to make that. But hopefully he can handle that.
Yeah.
Cornelius Rozier is a tight end, outside linebacker for us. But the kid, I think, that kind of is the glue of our defense right now would be Xavier Bostic, our Mike linebacker. Started last year as a sophomore, every game at Mike linebacker. And two young men that have jumped off the charts during this offseason are Brandon Chapman. I think Chapman's put on 26 pounds since the last game of last year. He'll play defensive end for us and be our second tight end. And then Drew Rozier, who started for us a couple of years in the offensive line, has moved in from tackle to guard, but he's also playing defensive end. He went from a 5'40" guy that weighed about 185, 190 at the end of the season. Sure. Now he's at 220. He's running 4.7.
That's some work.
And he and Drew were him and Brandon Chapman were here every morning, 6 a.m. in the weight room getting extra in with Coach Pagano.
Awesome. I mean, that's what it takes, Coach.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
And I think Connor Daniel, our place kicker this year, I think Connor has worked really, really hard. He's developed a little more flexibility, and he's gotten stronger. And I just feel like that Connor is setting himself up to have a good year. He just needs to have more confidence and learn the flush method. Okay. When you don't hit one good, hey, you just got to forget it and move on to the next one.
That's right. Man, he was booting them out here on the kickoffs, I can tell you that.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better.
No doubt, no doubt. So let's hit on the date for the scrimmage. That's going to be
August 4th
at
the Shamrock
at
Bowl.
The bowl, and then
August 18th.
That's the
two Fridays after.
Yep.
Opener, Wilkinson County again in the bowl.
Look, eight. We're going to count the scrimmage.
Counting the scrimmage. 8 games in the bowl.
8 guaranteed games in the bowl, but we looking for a few more.
And then, when you talk about trips, we got to go to Jefferson County, to Swainsboro, and to ECI.
Gotcha.
So there's no real long trips for ours to have to strike out on either.
So you might as well come to all the away games as well.
Yeah, well, one of the things I think, that our people ought to take a lot of advantage of, because they'll save a little bit of money, is season tickets. You can purchase your season tickets at the board office. Okay. You've got the general admission season ticket, which is roughly $8 a game. You're going to pay $10 if you walk up at the gate.
Sure.
So buy your season tickets at $8 a game. The reserve section in the middle, but not chairback, is $9 a game.
Gotcha.
And then if you buy the chairback season ticket, it's $10 a game. So you can sit in the chairbacks by buying the season ticket for what you would walk up for general admission if you pay at every game. So come get them. Get them in advance.
There's really no reason not to. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, you're going to be at the games anyways.
And you can walk in. You don't have to stand in line and all that type of stuff. So it makes it nice.
Man, go grab your season tickets. Where at, Coach?
Dublin board office right here.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Look, the 4th in the bowl scrimmage, 18th, we opening this thing up. We're going to play some football in the Shamrock Bowl. Come on out this year, Coach. We look forward to a great year for the Dublin Fighting Irish.
Hey, I appreciate you and TV 35.
Yes, sir. Thank you.